All right, Citrix admins, today I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot an issue relating to user sessions remaining open even though the user has closed the published application. So I've set up a little test environment. I'm using LibreOffice published and a single XenApp server to demonstrate the issue. So we're going to go ahead and launch LibreOffice here, Calc. And we'll take a look in Studio to show that the user has a session running. All right, so we've got Calc opened up, so let's go over to Studio. This is the delivery group that we have that published from. We do a refresh. And we see the TS user 1 currently with session running on that particular XenApp server. So all that looks normal. So I'm going to go back over to our workstation and close Office here, Calc. So ideally our session is over and done with. So we'll go back over Studio just to take another look at this. I'll do a refresh. And what we have is that TS user 1 still with an active session, but it says application not running, meaning that that published app is not running. However, again, we have a session still active there. And let's take a look here at our workstation that we had Office running from and take a look at our connection center. And what we see here is that it indicates, hey, there still is an active session on that XenApp server, but we've got a background process that got kicked off when we launched Calc running from that XenApp server that asking us to activate Bitdefender. So in this case here, we've got an antivirus application that was kicked off as a secondary process when our session started. Now, this is the issue I was describing earlier, where our user has closed our published app, but we still have an active session running in the background. So how do we fix this? What we'll do is we need to find out what the actual process is here running that caused this. So we're going to go over to our actual XenApp server that this is running from. And in our task manager, find that user and take a look at the processes they have running. Now, as an experienced Citrix admin, we kind of notice that most of the Citrix stuff and otherwise look pretty normal. However, what doesn't look normal is this Bitdefender agent. So if we can identify what this agent is and where it's running from, that will help us troubleshoot this issue. So it's running this Bitdefender agent, and this is the location as far as where it's running from, but it's called bdagent.exe. So what we need to do is actually tell Citrix to terminate this process when the user closes that published application. So what we need to do is update a registry location with that particular value. And the location is this. It's this HKey local machine system, current control set, control, Citrix, W shell, TWI. And we need to enter a value I've got a quick little reg file here that I'm going to update to show you. We need to enter a new value called logoff check sys modules. This is a reg-z, and you put the name of the executable there. Now, in some environments, again, we're talking about Bitdefender in this particular case, you may see issues with McAfee, Guardicore, and other applications that spawn off secondary processes that you need to add to this particular line. So if that were the case, you put bdagent.exe, comma, and whatever additional executable that you would need to include as far as a concern that would need to be closed out when the user closes the application. Anyway, so I've updated the registry with this value here, bdagent.exe. So I'm going to go ahead back to our Citrix server here and forcibly log this session out. Do a refresh here. Okay, so now we know that we only have the administrator logged in, not TS user 1, and we'll confirm that by taking a look at the actual XenApp server as well and looking at Task Manager, and we see in Task Manager we just have administrator on the system. So I'm going to go back over to my workstation here. We see as far as the connection center goes, there's no sessions running. I'll close that. I'll launch LibreOffice Calculator again after I log back in. Okay, we have it opened up now. And I'm going to go ahead and check Connection Center, see what it says is running. And there we have the same two, including Bitdefender. But this time I'm going to close the application, and you see in this particular case, now the Bitdefender is also closed. So likewise, our session is over and finished with and no longer in a connected state. I go back to our Citrix server, Studio, do a refresh, and it should show just the administrator. And we don't have that TS user 1 in that application not running state over here. So again, to fix that problem of a secondary process that does not terminate when the published application is over and done with, you make that registry entry, log off check sys modules, put the name of the executable that was spawned off that you want to monitor to also close when the published application is done. Now, I made this entry manually here, but this can also be done via group policy if you have a number of XenApp servers to be updated as well. So anyway, I hope this is helpful when troubleshooting those issues with applications that are not running, indicated in Studio as far as a possible cause, and sessions that are left in a running state even though the published application has been closed. All right, that's it for today.